Where to Hunt podcast. It's okay.
Hi, I'm Dan Small, host of Outdoor Wisconsin, and I listen to Where to Hunt.
Nah, it's okay.
I'm Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bow Hunter. I listen to Where to Hunt podcast, and it's decent.
It's all right.
Hey, this is Bud Fisher with Catching Deers, and I think the Where to Hunt podcast is all right.
Hey. Welcome to Where to Hunt podcast.
Hey.
How you doing, Greg?
Doing great, Eric. How about yourself?
Good. I'm happy to have you. Happy we're here. Happy to do this.
Yeah.
I used to say a very particular thing every episode. I've stopped doing it because of live format. So let's give it a shot here. Welcome to Where to Hunt podcast. Today is April 7th, 2020. This is episode 126. And this is the podcast that connects public land hunting enthusiasts. It's been a minute, see? AKA the okayest podcast in the Midwest. Fucking butchered it.
You didn't butcher it too bad. Not as bad as I do for some of our promo stuff. So you're good.
Dude, I've been saying this stuff for a lot of years now. It's been a minute since I've done it. It's pretty bad if you can't remember your own lines. But hey, we're okay. That's just how we.
We're just okay.
It's just okay. That's how we roll. I've been seeing people getting the koozies in the mail. That's been fun to see. Meh, it's okay.
Nice.
Call out. I took a picture this morning of some freshly ground backwoods grind coffee, and
just seeing it, I could smell it.
Yeah, see, it's really powerful stuff. It's so powerful that you can smell it, but the power really is in the beans, right? The caffeine. It's the original pre-workout. It's delicious. So head on over to backwoodsgrind.com, type in code W2H podcast, and then you get yourself 10% off. But then they know that we're helping them out, and you're supporting us, you're supporting them, and you're supporting conservation. So go do that. If you next time you need coffee, since you don't want to go to the grocery store, just go to backwoodsgrind.com. Gumleaf USA, gumleafusa.com. Greg, you were tranching around in your gum leafs. I saw them, the field wellies, the greens today.
Yes, sir. Perfect boot for today. We were darn near 70 degrees, and don't ask me how, but I never did fill a boot today. Usually I fill a boot out there somewhere, but stayed dry inside those boots. Flexible, Vibram sole, 85% rubber. What else should I say about them?
I don't know, but fill a boot was my nickname when I was in wrestling in high school.
Fill a boot.
That's right.
Do I dare ask?
I'm just fucking around. A, I wasn't in wrestling, and B, that wasn't my nickname. Good old fill a boot. He could really hold him down.
Oh boy.
Someone's gonna give me a bad rating for trying to be funny again.
Yeah, they are. You should hit the womp womp.
I think I got rid of that one. I think I just have
did it for you.
Have the crickets.
That's fine.
And then you were out there with a good friend of ours, Isaac, over at Vector Custom Shop, vectorcustomshop.com.
Mr. Isaac Smith.
How'd it go?
Shout out to Mr. Isaac Smith.
You had a nice fancy Vector hat.
Camera rig. He was running around. He wanted me to try and talk intelligently into the microphone. I did not do a very good job, I didn't feel anyway, of talking intelligently. I can talk, but, not intelligently.
Yeah, same.
So it was good.
Makes two of us.
He did some video work. So somewhere along the lines, that's going to show up somewhere out in Instagram and Facebook land. No idea when, but keep your eyes peeled for it.
Keep your eyes peeled,
Should
folks.
Be mildly boring or maybe entertaining. I don't know. Maybe he'll work some magic with that cool camera.
I bet you he will. That's what those cameras are for. It'll add 10 pounds though, so good luck with that. But
that's fine.
Head on over to vectorcustomshop.com, enter in code WHERE is the number 2, the word hunt, and you get 10% off. And I'm seeing these guys all over Instagram now. Sam Soholtz, give them a try. Who else did I see that was, kind of like a bigger name?
Marconic.
Yeah, with East meets
Marconic.
West, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. there's a few other people out there that maybe people know of and maybe they don't, but they got big things coming.
Yeah, good company.
To the world of archery here soon.
We'll talk about it more.
Great guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stay tuned for the shot of the week, in post-production. So that'll be good. That'll be when the podcast is live later tonight. We'll talk more about them. Okay. Let's bring on our guests. Who do we got with us today?
We have Trev from the Outdoor Drive podcast. How's it going, Trev?
What's going on, guys?
What brings you here? How did you get on our show? Who do you know?
I strolled on in.
We left the back door open.
Somebody left the door open.
Damn it. The cat must have drugged me in again. I get drugged into all kinds of crazy places.
What kind of cat was it? Was it a tiger?
Was it a fucking tiger? It was a tiger with corona.
It was the tiger.
Oh, don't go there. I've been watching.
Please don't
actually
say you've been watching that train wreck. You did, didn't you? You couldn't resist.
I did, man. I got sucked right in.
Same here.
Believe it or not, I've held true to not watching it.
Oh, come on.
It's actually
you don't have to be that proud of that.
entertaining,
Just
man.
get in the bandwagon. Come on.
I kind of dig it.
You're missing out on all the fun.
Boy.
So, Trev, tell us about you and the Outdoor Drive podcast. I know I got to hang out on your show a couple weeks ago, kind of when the shit hit the fan with COVID. And, here's some runway, man. Tell us about yourself.
So I'm an East Coast native, born and raised here in Connecticut. I know most of you guys probably don't even know where that is, probably only seen it on a map once. I grew up in the outdoor world, hunting and fishing my entire life. And yeah, man, that's about my life.
That's a
Doesn't sound like a bad life.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds nice and simple. You got a lot going on though. So we're happy to have you on today because here we talk mostly deer, and we sway here and there, and we talk about, gear and BS and tactics and such. But every now and again, we'll talk about a fish or a mushroom or a coyote or a turkey. But you're dabbling in a whole bunch of things. You got a crew with you over there. And your day job is super interesting. Maybe we can just kind of start with how you got how did you get into the outdoors? Like what drew you? Like what's your drive? What drove you?
What drives me into the outdoors? So I started my life, my first job was actually when I was 15 years old. I started in a bait and tackle shop making sandworm boxes. It's kind of like the pizza guy who makes pizza boxes. And I started doing that when I was actually underage to be working, and I stayed there up until I was about 24 years old, and I finished there in sales, doing sales for them, selling night crawlers actually to all your convenience stores through like a company called J Polyp, which is kind of stupid, but that's where I kind of started and cut my teeth, was there, and doing that and fishing every single day. And then I decided it was a good thing to do was to go and work for the family business doing construction for a while, and that absolutely sucked. So I said, you know what? I want to do something different. So I got into doing a little bit of taxidermy. My family actually owns a meat farm where we had processed deer. We would do close to about probably 300 whitetails a year, and we would do all the skull mounts by simmering with the power washer. And I was like, dude, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So I actually researched and found out about these demersed beetles, or domestic beetles, and I started my own colony, and I started with 250, and I was doing my little trapping animals, so on and so forth. And then it kind of turned into this big thing, and now that's what I do full time in the off season from fishing. So
no shit.
Yep.
How do you take care of those beetles real quick? So the beetles are kind of self-efficient, man. Once you get them kind of set up and on the temperatures that they're supposed to be on, and so I'll just go through it real quick. The beetles have to hold between 75 and 83 degrees with a moisture about 30%.
So you say, how do I get that? Well, we actually use heat lamps inside of chest freezers with HVAC vents that go in and out, and they're actually on like house light timers. So they go on 8 times a day for 15 minutes to keep the moisture at the right level, and if you have to, you spray them with water. And then they're on this thing called an inkbird, which hooks into a light socket, and then that has your bulb on it, and then that keeps it at your temperature and regulates it 3 degrees, swing either way, so it stays at that temperature. And the beetles actually, they're pretty much self-efficient, man. You just feed them, water them, and they will grow, and they just multiply and multiply and multiply. So a beetle from a larva stage in 6 months gets to its sexual maturity to a full-size beetle, and then it starts laying eggs. And they just keep reproducing.
Holy shit. You made something that, like, I would have spent 2 weeks researching on YouTube, and you did in about 2 minutes.
That's good, because it took me about 5 years to figure that out.
That's what I'm saying. That's like, you have an ecosystem.
Your opportunity there. You could have led people along and said, well, you got to tuck them in at night. You got to read them a story. And you got to do all sorts of things. They're very high maintenance.
They are very high maintenance, honestly. I mean, to keep them alive is not that easy. I mean, I say it that, but I've made every mistake that there is when it's coming to the beetles. If they get too much moisture, they get mites. They're susceptible to a lot of different diseases. They are a complete pain in the ass. But when you get them to work properly, I can do a deer head with probably 10,000, 15,000 bugs in less than 24 hours.
That's sick, dude. How many deer heads can they fucking eat? Like, can you just run it through there? Like, here's another one tomorrow, here's another one tomorrow, and they just keep going? Or do they get fatigued?
That's what I do. No, sometimes, I mean, they definitely get to the point where they'll go into molting mode, I call it, where they all hide and disappear, and you think that your whole entire colony's dead, and you get all pissed off, and I've done this before, and I've thrown out the colony, and then I talked to the beetle guy, and he's like, no, don't do that. They just go through like a reproduction thing, and they'll just start from scratch again, and then they'll just multiply, and they just boom like instantaneously and become this huge colony. And that's what ends up happening. But like, to answer your question, you literally just feed them every single day. So every day I go in there and I put a new deer head in, or I'll put 2 deer head in. My one colony that I'm operating out of right now, fully, is about 50 to 75,000 beetles. And I can put 2 heads in there a day, and it will completely eat them by the morning.
Wow.
So the Orkin man would have a field day in that freezer.
There's a lot of DNA in there. No.
Wow.
And they do such a good job, though, right? Like, the skull comes out incredibly clean for very little effort, probably.
Yeah, I mean, so
well, that's relative, because there's a lot of effort in taking care of the beetles, but then you're not picking out brain.
Well, so the prepping process is, I mean, I have to skin it, de-jaw it, de-eye it, and de-brain it, and then it goes in like that. So there's very little meat on it by the time it goes in there, but they do eat it pretty quickly. You can leave the brains, but that's what tends to smell the worst, is the brains, because it's just nasty, but it's very helpful in the reproduction process. So it's got a lot of protein and a lot of stuff for them that helps them breed. So every once in a while you'll actually leave one in there with brain on it.
Damn. All right, so there's that.
So yeah.
That's super fascinating. That's not something I know anything about. I know there's a gal that does that here in Wisconsin who's been on the show a while back. And you know, she's got beetles. I know that. I didn't realize that much care had gone into it. That's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and once they come out of the beetles, once the head comes out, then it has to be degreased and then whitened. So that's a little bit of a process in itself. That takes a little bit of time too. So the degreasing process, I run it at 180 degrees for 16 hours, and then it comes out of there, and then it goes into whitening. I do 2 different stages of whitening. I do a liquid whitener, and then I do a powder whitening. So, and then they're like paper white by the time that they're done. So it takes about a week to whiten.
And they don't stink after all that either.
At 180, is that a water temperature? Is that a bath, or is that dry? A dry 180?
No, it's a water. No. It's water. Sorry. And you put it with. I use Dawn dish soap as my degreaser.
Sure.
So they soak in that. Whitetail grease burns off at 116 degrees. So every skull has a lot of grease in it. So that's when you see like, and I hate it, man. You go through these trade shows and you look at all these, say, bears, pigs, whitetails, and they all got this like yellow dinginess to them. And it's like a sheen to it. That's actually grease popping out of it. And a lot of people don't realize that you have to pull it out. Some people don't care. You know what I'm saying? It just, it's bone. It's cool. But I'm just very particular with making sure that's very, very white.
Looking out the window, my wife just drove off in my truck, so I'm not sure what to make of that.
Taking the truck and I'm leaving you home. Have fun with the kids. Sucker.
Sorry. What the heck?
No, you're good.
Clay Thurman has a question for you, and which is fine. Let's use that as an opportunity to switch gears a little bit, because I like to bring your flavor of the Outdoor Drive into this episode and cover all sorts of fun stuff. And so he had asked, first of all, what's shaken, and then he asked what your favorite fish recipe is, or your favorite way to prep.
Whoa. I'm going to have to go with a solid, man. And I'm going to go with my favorite, depending on the type of fish. So I'll do freshwater and then I'll do a saltwater. My favorite freshwater is I would definitely eat walleye. And the way that I would eat it would be, I like beer battered. That's just the way to go, in my opinion. I know it's not good for you the best, but that's actually what I had for dinner. Was beer battered walleye.
Well, good for you is hard to define. Like, it's good for your soul, right?
That's it. Yeah, exactly. It's fresh fish, right? How you go wrong there? Saltwater, I'm going to go fluke, and I'm going to go stuffed, baked with a wine cheese sauce on it.
Oh.
So are you like...
Now you're talking.
So you're around fish. You're on a charter boat, a party charter boat. That's hard to fucking say.
We call it a head boat.
A head boat. I did one of those in Florida. I went down to Key West to visit some family, and we did one of those party boats, and it was a shit show, man. I actually really liked it. We took our fresh catch, and some restaurant cooked our fresh catch for us, and they just blackened it or whatever. But it was, I don't know. Maybe it was the booze. Maybe it was the sunset. You know, the environment. I don't know, but it was really good. It could have been because it was fresh.
Blackened fish in general is amazing.
It was a cool experience. But we did one of those boats. And in fact, one of my favorite stories is my buddy Mike. I probably told the story on the show before, but he had a fish. You're supposed to yell fish out when you get a fish because it's the ocean. You could pull something up weird, right? I don't know if that's what they do on the head boat.
Yeah, of course.
And so he's like, fish on. And he's all excited. He's all jacked up, and the deckhand comes over. And he's like, oh, yeah, man. He grabs the pole. You got a big one. You got a grouper. And Mike looks at me with the most excited face to this day that I've ever seen. And I've known him since we're in 7th grade. And he goes, dude, I got a fucking grouper. And the guy goes, yeah, a grouper rocks. Schwink, cuts the line. I've never seen such a rise and a fall in his expression. It was the best thing ever. Poor fucker.
Are we talking Kula? Is that Kula
that
we're talking about?
It sure is.
Oh my God! Not only can he slide down a bank with style, he can catch a grouper. A
grouper rocks.
Rocks in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, dude, I got a grouper. And the way he did it was just so dramatic. Bust out his knife and just hard slice.
Razored it. That's awesome.
He's pretty great. So, okay, so you're on these boats, right? a lot. And so you're around fish. And so at what point did you decide that I'm going to start making some really good meals? Like you just talked about a wine cheese dressing. The fuck? I've never made a wine cheese dressing in my life. You got to be doing some fun stuff there in the kitchen then.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when you live on this stuff, I mean, like, so I'll go into it a little bit because I didn't even go over that part of it. So I started doing with the European mounts and doing with the demersa beetles and stuff. I needed something else to fill my time and make some money. So I decided to get on and into charter fishing. I was like, you know what, I'll be a mate on a boat, then I can hunt and I can run the taxidermy business in the off season. So I got onto a 6-pack charter boat, doing stupid little porgy fishing, bottom fishing, striper fishing, and something I've done my entire life. So I became a mate there, and then I progressively moved myself up, and I started doing offshore fishing, was doing shark fishing and tuna fishing on a boat for a couple of years. Then I got into commercial striper fishing and commercial tuna fishing, which I was never successful at. I break that there. I've been a ton of times and never actually landed one. Yeah. And every time I wasn't there, they would land one and it would just suck. Or we'd have buddies around us killing them. One of the trips we went out last year, the last day of the season, our buddy Mike ended up killing like a 750 pounder right next to us. We watched him fight it the entire time. Miserable, dude. We were just miserable watching him do it, but it was awesome to be part of it and see it and everything like that. And then I said, you know, I want to try something different and work underneath a different captain. So I went and started working on a 115-foot, 150 passenger party boat or head boat. And we bottom fish for porgy, sea bass, and fluke 7 days a week throughout the summer. So we start in the beginning of May and we end the end of October. So when you're around all these fish all the time, and all you do, man, I mean, we stockpile the freezer constantly. I mean, that's what we live on, dude. I don't buy food. It's whitetails and fish, and that's literally what we live on. So when you constantly have this stuff, you got to find different ways of cooking it, right? So it's blackening or stuffed or baked, or you can only fry fish so many different times before you decide that you're way too fat and shouldn't be eating it that way. So you just kind of like, you ask all your buddies and like, oh, how do you make it? How do you make it? And then being one of my really good buddies and fishing partners is the Ghost Hunter, who's on the Outdoor Drive, and he is a full-time chef. And what he does is he has 5 culinary degrees in Italy.
Jeez.
He studied in Italy and all over Europe. So that's what he does, man. High-end restaurants. So I'm constantly bouncing off of him, man. Let me try this. What's up with that? Just making all different kinds of things and different sauces and you name it, man. So
that's cool.
Just kind of mess around in the kitchen, making fish tacos. I mean, what's better than fish taco, man?
Not much.
There's
My
nothing
wife
better than
loves
a
fish tacos.
taco, you know?
Gosh. Dude, we got to have you talk to Holly because when we get back into, in-person guest mode, she's always making folks dinner when they come over, including Greg. And by the way, Bruce, the Haas Clark says, what up, fellas? What up, Bruce? Haas.
What's up, Bruce?
I feel like, is there something that rhymes with Bruce that we could say in addition to Haas? Can we give him another nickname? Bruce the Moose?
We'll stick with Big Hoss.
Yeah.
Bruce Ritter Clark.
Bruce Ritter.
And Bruce.
Yeah, man. So
go ahead. This is your time. Go ahead, Trev. Shit.
No, you're good, dude. Going back to Holly and guests being on and coming over and cooking for him, we're actually going to do we're calling it the Food Chain Junkie Flavor of the Week. And what that is Ghost Hunter is going to do a recipe of the week with pictures and how to, and also going to do a video clip on some of the bigger recipes also. So it's something to watch out for.
Hell yeah. That's pretty neat. So. I know we were talking when I was on your show, we were talking about like doing some tributary to all the wives.
Yeah, man. You have to.
We might do
We
that.
just have to have a wife podcast. I think we'll have to do like a Where to Hunt outdoor drive wife podcast.
Yeah. Well, then I'll never be in the seat again. She'll just take over. She's way better than me. You guys will be like, dude, don't bring Eric back. That's how that would go.
My wife will usually start to partake in a beverage, and that's when the cooking gets good. I mean, it's good the way it is, but it seems she gets a little more creative juices flowing.
A little risque in the kitchen with the
involved.
seasoning, huh?
Yeah. Or something. Her turkey chili with porter beer is one of my favorites.
Oh, it sounds good.
Whoa.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
See, yeah, I didn't have a good dinner tonight. The Tuesday. Yeah, I'm so hungry. All right, so you're one of your co-hosts is an incredible chef, and you've been at it for a while. Obviously, you made some food at the Working Class Bow Hunter shoot last summer for a lot of folks that people are raving about for still now. That just a comment just came through from that. That's pretty great. So, are you doing turkey hunting? When does that open up for you guys? Is that not? I know some states are getting it closed right now because of COVID. So I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings that they can't go.
Yeah, nobody cares about their feelings, but no, I'm just kidding.
You're fucked.
I'm actually I'm leaving on Wednesday to drive to Virginia, me and Ghost Hunter, and we are going to go to Stevens in Virginia, which is the other host of the Outdoor Drive, and we're going to go down there and hunt for 5 days, turkey hunting, because their season rings in before ours does. So we'll be down there filming and hunting down in Virginia. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to head back, and then we'll start hunting in Connecticut. But I definitely also want to just let everyone know what Steven is. And Steven is the other host of the Outdoor Drive podcast. And if it wasn't for Steven, there wouldn't be an Outdoor Drive podcast, because on the drop of a hat, when we decided to start this adventure, he was right there by my side. I called him that day and said, we're starting this. And we kicked it off in Harrisburg. And he is just like the IT guru.
He's got the voice. He's got that sexy radio voice and the IT background.
Yeah, but he doesn't really talk much.
He's like, hey, coming at you. I'm like, whoa, who's this fucking guy? This is a beautiful voice for the radio. No joke.
That sexy jazz voice.
Yeah, he did that. He said that. Yeah, he said sexy jazz voice, and then he started talking in like a new voice, and I was like, whoa. I got like it was like a moth to a flame,
Yeah, exactly. So then we're gonna come back home and we'll start back in Connecticut. We get 5 birds here in Connecticut, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah, and they just ruled it this year that we get to hunt until dark, so that's gonna be a new thing for me. We always were able to hunt until noon, but now we can hunt until dark. So
that's how it was here for quite a long time. When I first started, like, we were done at noon. You had from sun up till noon, and that was it. You were done hunting. And that went on for quite a few years, and then all of a sudden they opened it up till the sundown, basically. So that's kind of nice to get that change. I've always killed all my birds in the morning, though. I've never killed one in the evening. So it came close last year to shooting one in the evening, but it's kind of a nice thing. It gives you more of a chance to harvest your bird. So you get 5. Do you guys get here it is, season's open, run until when do you start? When's it open there for you in Connecticut?
So our season opens I want to say April 29th this year. And yeah, I mean, you just get 5 tags. So last year was it was 3 on private, 2 on state, and then they just full blown opened it 5 across the board. So you can just kill 5 birds, and it's I don't know, man. I'm torn in between whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think 5 is a lot of birds, man. And that's gonna kill,
season... Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No. Go ahead.
So our season's broke up. Like, it starts it opens April 15th, and we have periods, A through E, I believe. And you have to draw. So when you go and apply for a turkey permit here, you choose the period you want and apply for it. And then you get like 2 or 3 other backup choices for periods and zones. So we have, I don't know, what are we up to? I think 4 or 5 zones now. I think we're 5 zones. It used to be cut up into more zones. It was pretty ridiculous. So you pick your area you want to hunt and the time period. If you don't get that, you get your backup time period and zone. It could be the same zone, just a later time period. So I've got the 3rd period, so I'm the end of April, beginning of May. That was my draw, and then you can purchase any additional tags. So you're allowed 1 per period. So I got period C, and then I went and bought a bonus or an extra for period E or period F, one of the two. I'll have to go back and look. So essentially, we probably could kill up to 6 birds, maybe, if you were able to get at it and pick those permits out like right off the bat. So for each zone, they'll they open it. I think it was March 16th. Zone A, you had to go in and any leftover permits that didn't get drawn for Zone A, you could grab. And then the next day, the 17th, they opened up for Zone B or Zone C or whatever it was. So it's one of those things you got to really read through and mark the day on your calendar, because like Zone A, that's our southeastern side of the state, where probably there's between A and B, there's probably the most birds. Those are the southern 2 zones. Those tags sell really fast. So you got to get in there and get them while the getting's good. Otherwise, they're gone. The later season permits, nobody likes to go for season E and F because that's already into fishing season. Lakes are open, into May. But honestly, I went the second to last period last year, and I never heard so many birds gobbling around here ever. It was quite good.
So it's kind of like a hidden gem.
That late season.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that late season is like fire. Yeah, it's fire, man. Like, I love it. Like, that's one thing that makes me kind of nervous with the whole 5 bird thing, because like the guys that, would normally go out and kill 1, 2 birds are happy, but now they have 4 other tags to fill. So they might drag into the later season. And definitely, here with 5 tags, I'm telling you right now, every Jake in this state is not safe anymore. They were safe before because they only had 2, 3 tags, and they would wait for a longbeard. But now every Jake's dead. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's the first couple of years, it's going to have a little bit of an effect. And I think with the whole COVID thing too, that a lot of guys are really going to be in the woods a lot more, because you see it a lot more on the forums now. Guys are just like, oh, I can't wait for turkey season. And I'm thinking like, it's a good thing, dude. I want to see the bigger numbers. I want to see more people succeed, and I want them to, shoot birds and stuff, but just leave mine alone,
Right. Absolutely.
And you're hunting public land, right,
Yeah.
Trev?
Yeah, I'm a big public land hunter. I have probably maybe 1 or 2 private land spots that I turkey hunt and or deer hunt, but everything else is all public land. Yeah.
And what's your strategy?
Like urban.
Like to getting on birds, what's your strategy? Like, how are you starting that process? Do you have some known spots that you've had success with, or are you kind of reinventing the wheel every season?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I've been scouting now going on probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where now just getting into the woods, finding, scratching, going into new spots. I'm constantly just hiking new spots, trying to find new public land to hunt for whitetails and turkeys. So I'll just go in there, find ground scratching, try and maybe locate a bird. Now we're starting to locate them. We're doing that early morning thing, trying to find birds, see where they're holding up, where they're going, what they're doing. And just, I mean, especially with this year, just trying to spread our wings and go farther away. Because, our local spots might have guys on them, and so could be the faraway spots, but just having more birds and locating more places But my strategies, man, is I'm more of a late morning hunter when it comes to turkey hunting, and I'm more of a run and gunner. So, like, if a bird's not going to do what I want it to do, and I'm not going to be able to kill that bird right off the bat, I move and try and find another one. If he's not going to do, if I got to sit there for an hour and talk back and forth, and he's not going to do it, I'm going to move, and I'm just going to get on a tote road, and I'm just going to keep hiking and calling and trying to find another bird that's going to work in my favor. And you know, it's very fast paced when you do that, man. Like it just happens instantly. A lot of times I wait for them to get down and then call them back. If I know a bird's going into a feeding area, I'll call them back out of the feeding area at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, which is going to be a game changer for me being able to hunt after 12, because I could never hunt after 12. I don't know how many times I've had to turn it in when I'm working a bird at 11:30, and now I look down and it's 12 o'clock. Now I legally can't shoot that bird, and I have to turn back, and I have to come back there the next day. So to be able to keep doing that and having to hunt until nighttime, I think I'll be a little bit more successful this season. Not saying I wasn't successful last season, because I had a lot of fun last year. Last year we were able to shoot 3, and I decided that I was going to do it with a bow. So I killed all 3 of my birds with the bow. Yeah, I tagged out with my bow, which was kind of crazy for me, man, because I've never really done that. This was my first year with just strictly going out with the bow. I was always with the gun, man.
Well, for the record, you're lethal with a bow. For anybody that was at the working class shoot last summer knows that you were the only, and I think the first, to hit that target, that steel target right in the freaking quarter size hole that it had from across the pond.
Yeah, I got lucky. The wind was right. It just happened to be I was hung over to the right extent and was able to just wobble it right in there.
What did you win? You won something cool, didn't you?
Yeah, Lone Wolf custom camera.
Yeah, dude, that was cool. Like, it was a big deal. It was like, oh, like, you know how many fucking arrows that thing broke? Dorsey, what did we call her?
Yeah, Doris.
Yeah.
So it's funny because it was like being in a movie, dude. You know, like any movie, and the guy's like, the bell's about to ring, and he shoots from half court and he makes it, and everybody runs out into the center of the court and picks the dude up. That's kind of what I felt like. And
it was your fucking birthday, dude, right? Like, what?
It was my birthday, actually, yeah.
And then you made everybody fish, and you guys brought Shabine. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah,
these guys ain't from around here.
Snakehead.
Just showed up and like
we brought scallop.
Oh man.
But that was crazy because what happened was I did a Trev's blooper and I forgot my release, man. And I drove all the way from Connecticut to Illinois and forgot my release. So that morning I stopped at the bow shop and I bought a new release that I had never shot before. And I went to go, it was my turn to shoot, man, and everybody had shot, missed, and then I got up and I went to go shoot, and it was like a hunter hook type release, and I wasn't used to that. And when I went to go shoot, the release kind of rolled, and I missed the trigger, and I kind of like flinched, and everyone was like, oh, and then I just like focused, and I shot, and I made it, and then everyone like freaked out, and they were like, ah, it was nuts, dude. It was like the high school football tean.
Dude, I didn't even try. Like, I didn't. I was like, no, because I'm gonna ruin an arrow. Like, I would have just shot it right into the pond. Everyone like, well, yeah, he really is the okayest. I'm like the guy that picks up the gun. Everyone starts ducking because I'm pointing at everybody. Whoa, buddy! Like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
We had the time of our life, man. That was so much fun there. It was so hot though, but it was so awesome.
It was hot. I remember Cody and Steve were walking around with their shirts off, and that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
The contrast of that. Like the most fit guy, and probably not the most fat guy, but definitely not fit. And just proud.
No.
It was great because it's just hot. It was hot. I remember that. So okay, the turkey. So that was a good aside. That was good to talk about. The turkey hunting, though. I mean, that's like Greg said, April 15th, and there's a youth hunt before that, Greg, right?
Yeah.
Here in Wisconsin, anyways.
Yeah, I think the youth hunt took place already, but I could be wrong.
It's just before the 15th, so we don't have to be wrong or right about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up here if it hasn't happened already. And then I think that's pretty much the mentor hunt. You can take either a youth or mentor somebody that's not hunted before season. I'll have to look into that.
But
my wife had expressed interest in going, so it'd be kind of cool to get her on a gobbler and watch her shoot the head off of that thing with her shotgun.
Oh yeah, we were joking about on last week's show. We had 2 shows last week, so I think this is when we were talking to John Mulligan, aka Johnny Utah. That it's kind of like the poor man's elk hunting because there's just so much interaction. And you, Trev, mentioned you do a run and gun, so it sounds like you're actually, are you shooting? Are you doing both? Are you going with bow and gun, or?
No, I mean, yeah, you mean like when I go out, do I bring my bow and my gun?
Yeah, or do you alternate, or like, okay, well, I'm going to bust out the shotgun today or whatever?
Yeah, now it's just going to be like go out and just either or, man, depending where I'm hunting, because there is a lot of archery-only areas where I hunt, so either bring the bow or the gun or whatever, both of them. But it is definitely, I don't know, after last year, running and gunning with the bow is one of the coolest things in the world, man. And just hiding behind trees and burlap and whatever else, it's definitely badass with the bow.
I'm hearing the Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go Ninja theme song in my head. Do you guys know anything about like Greg, Trev, do you guys know like what, do you guys get into like the tactics of the gear, like what choke you should be running on your gun and things like that, and what grain of ammunition is that worth talking about when you're talking turkey hunting for the range and stuff?
Yeah, if you're talking shotgunning, I mean, everybody's got their favorite, just like for ducks. I mean, if I'm shooting puddle ducks out here,
what the hell's a puddle duck?
Steel load. Oh man,
you gotta learn me here a little bit,
bro.
Yeah,
I know.
You're starting a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you're starting a rabbit hole. We'll discuss that in another episode.
So I'll just break it down real quick. Puddle ducks is like your normal ducks that everyone would see. Your mallards and your wood ducks and your teals.
Oh, because they're so common, you could find them in a fucking puddle.
Yeah, well, typically any inland pond or lake, that's mostly going to be puddle ducks. I mean, that's not totally right, but you'll see divers on lakes too.
A diver is another type of duck.
Getting back to it, I'm going to kick us back over to this subject. Everybody's got their favorite or confidence load. So mine's the number 3 for ducks. For pheasants, I like usually number 4s or number 5s. They're always copper-coated lead. For turkeys, I'm usually a 4 or a 5-shot guy also in a 3-inch. I used to have a Magnum gun that shot the 3.5. Honestly, it's really not worth it, although it did come in handy to clean up on a couple of coyotes once, but another story for another podcast. When you're talking a turkey choke, my experience has always been the tighter the better, so a full choke.
Did you say the tiger the better?
No, not the tiger.
I couldn't
help
help myself.
Out your ear, boy. The tighter the better, not toit like a toy.
Toit like a tiger. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, toit,
yeah, we're on the same page.
Toit like a tiger. We're on the same page. We are, but not.
For book, same
tighter.
page.
So they make turkey chokes that are like a super full. So they keep the shot string in much tighter, much closer together, so you get more pellets in a concentrated area. Versus like if you were to shoot like a modified choke, which most guns come with stock, it's going to have a wider pattern and the BBs are going to be spread out a lot more. So with a turkey, you want to be able to hit them in the head or hit them in the neck and have as many BBs hit that thing as possible. That's going to ensure a quick kill.
Nice.
There's mud.
So you're not shooting.
I'm with it, dude.
You're not shooting a slug at a turkey, right? Just to clarify.
No, not quite. But as many BBs in a tight pattern as possible. So,
and to go along with that, man, like definitely pattern your gun. And you want to see what pattern.
Yes.
What round does best, so it's especially for a newer hunter to go out and buy, a couple different types of ammunition and try it with your choke and see what pattern is the best, what shoots the best for you. Because there is some rounds that, might shoot out of a stock full choke or whatever that just don't shoot properly at 20, 30 yards.
So what are the classifications for choke? You said full choke, and I'm interrupting on purpose. What are the other classifications? Because I know, so like we have a spectrum of listeners, right? We have new, beginner, intermediate, and we do have some guys that are super seasoned. So I just want to make sure we're covering some of the like.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to cover. I mean, when you're talking shotgun chokes, there's cylinder, improved cylinder, modified. I mean, if we're going to go kind of basic, modified, full, and then there's like a super full for turkey. And then you get into some of the other ones that are, like a pattern master. It's a different design of choke. It works a little bit different. I don't even want to go into discussing that on this episode because, again, it's a rabbit hole. But typically it's a improved cylinder, modified, and full. Those are usually like the three chokes that came with my 870 when I bought it way back when.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer a pump action or automatic? What do you like?
Well, for me, that's what I've got is a pump. I used to have a semi-auto. I sold it because I got out of goose hunting and stuff, and the gun was old and had a lot of miles on it. I bought it used, and it started to give some trouble, and I went through it and did a bunch of work to it. But
what about you, Trev? What are you rocking?
I wanted, so.
Oh, I rock a pump, man. I'm right there with
just
him.
You gotta pump it, right?
I have an 887.
Yep.
It just feels good. Although turkey, you might want to consider that they have incredible eyesight, so we want to keep your movement to a minimum. So just make sure you're loaded up, ready to go, right?
100%. Make sure you shuck the round into the barrel right before daylight, and make sure your safety's on, because we don't want any accidents happening.
Oh, dude, you could run through the incident reports on the DNR's website across many states, and
God.
The things you read. Maybe I'll read one on post just for kicks, just to remind everybody to be safe out there. But yeah, it's interesting the stuff you see. Hey, Johnny, what's up? He says, "What's up, fellas?" in the comments. Trev, let's switch gears. I think. I'd love to hear, no callers yet, and if anyone wants to call in, we'll park you in the call queue for the moment, because I'd love to hear, Trev, your most memorable hunt.
My most memorable hunt, I think honestly it was this year. Mine was a 10-pointer that I shot, man. This deer was a deer that I actually had chased for a couple of years. 2 years ago, I took a shot at him, and he was an 8-pointer on Thanksgiving afternoon. I actually skipped Thanksgiving with my family to go out just because I just had that feeling. And so I got in the tree. Deer came in straight at me. Couldn't get a shot. Finally get a shot. It was 37 yards, and it got deflected, and I missed the deer. So I was really upset about it. And the next year, which was last year, I never saw the deer. Was never on camera, nothing, disappeared for the entire season. And then this year, right about October 28th, he had showed up on camera for the first time ever since 2 years prior. And so I was like, oh, he's around. So we named him Who the Funk. I hunted him hard. Couldn't find him. Ended up getting a property that abutted mine, but it was on the swamp side instead of up on the mountain. And I set up. I had just came home from New York. I hunted up in upstate New York for a week, and I came home. I'd missed a rut, so it was about the 17th of November. I didn't miss the rut, but it was a later rut. And got in my stand, It was a couple minutes, probably a half hour before sundown. I'm like, all right, it's going to happen. Here we go. This is awesome. I haven't seen nothing yet, but I thought maybe they would be fucking running. So I was like, all right. So I hear full bore deer running right at me. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here's a doe, runs right underneath my stand at about 1 yard, and I'm in the saddle. And I turn to go. I'm like, all right, hopefully there's a buck behind her. And then here he comes. I can see the 10 point. So now I'm a big mass deer at this point with a rack. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a shot at him. And he came by at 1 yard, completely right underneath me in the saddle. And I'm turned around, but I couldn't get a shot because he was like completely walking right at me again. And he was completely underneath me. And I watched him walk away, and I couldn't get a shot. And now I'm all upset. And I'm like, oh, man, that's him. Like, fuck, this sucks. Like, I couldn't get a shot. What am I going to do? This sucks. And I'm all upset in the tree. And I texted a buddy of mine. And I'm like, dude, there he was. I seen him. Finally, the hit list deer, finally able to get a shot at him. And couldn't get a shot. So I'm all upset in the tree. And about 5-10 minutes later, I hear a doe running, or a deer running at me again. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I think it's him again. So here comes the doe at 1 yard, completely under the tree stand, same run, full bore, as fast as she could, completely by me. And I'm like, he's got to be behind her. But this time, if that's the case, I'm gonna shoot, but I'm gonna shoot straight down. I guess I said I don't know what else to do. Luckily, he came in my 22-yard opening, and he comes. I see him. He gets into my opening. I stop him. He's quartering to me. I shoot him kind of like front shoulder brisket straight in, quartering in towards me. I shoot him, and I'm like, I watched the Luminok go, and I'm like, fuck. I hit low. Shit, I think I don't know what I did. And then now my adrenaline starts going, and I freak out. I'm like, I don't know. I call my dad. I call my buddies. I'm like, I shot him, but I don't think I shot him good. I don't know. It doesn't look good. I'm not really sure. And I start freaking out. And everyone's like, no, Trev, you shot him. You did good. I know you did. So I get down, and I'm trying to look for my arrow. No arrow. And then I find blood. And I'm like, holy shit. I smoked him. I absolutely smoked him. So I backed out, and I waited for some friends to come. And I went down, and he went about 20 yards, 25 yards. I couldn't see him. He had gone into some thick stuff. I didn't hear him go down or nothing. I just saw him watch him disappear into some thick stuff. It was like 35 yards probably. And that was it, man. It was history after that. I couldn't believe it. I absolutely heart punched him on a quarter and in shot. Shot him in the brisket, front shoulder, in between there, and out the other front shoulder, and he didn't go 35 yards.
What stands out in your mind the most about that hunt? Like, what is the moment that you vividly remember?
Right before I released a shot, and he just looked right up at me, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this moment couldn't have happened. Like, there's definitely, the deer gods were on my side that day. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, this is my biggest buck to date, and everything I've ever tried to do, and shooting a big buck, and it finally all came together, and he was just standing there, and right before I released the arrow, dude, that was it.
It's cool. Isn't that crazy how that stuff gets soldered into your brain? You'll never forget it.
Oh, never will I ever forget that.
That's awesome. Did you Euro mount him? Did your Beatles have their way with him, or what?
No, actually, he's actually getting mounted, and I actually get to get him back on Thursday. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, pumped. It's my first shoulder mount. So
that's awesome. I would be fucking jacked. I have Mr. fucking 7 point on the wall here that I put in the ground for a year, and let the earthworms do their thing. And that's, I think, the biggest buck I got, and I got the 6 pointer on the light over here in the camera. But hey, Nick Sampson asks.
Oh Jesus!
You must know Nick Sam. I want to talk to Samson. He says, ask him about shooting carp soon in Connecticut with his big boy Nick next month.
Oh, don't
you know about that?
So, this is a rabbit hole. But I'll keep it very vague. So in Connecticut, we can't actually kill carp, or we can, but
wait,
there's
what?
a limit on that.
Is that real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They're protected.
What?
They're actually considered a game fish here in Connecticut. Yeah.
I'm very confused. Connecticut is confused.
Shoot until your heart's content, and you'll never get rid of them all.
It's
Dude, people fucking slay them and leave them on
want?
riverbeds. Like you leave them out to rot. Like they're a nuisance. They're invasive. Get them out of here. The fuck, Connecticut.
So the carp anglers group, the CAG, they're European carp fishermen, and they love the carp here.
What?
And,
I mean, they fight hard, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, I used to be one of those guys, man. I was into the European carp fishermen, huge into it, tournament fished all over, huge into it, and I loved it, man. It was awesome until I started shooting them with a bow and arrow. So
well, did you hook up with Kills It podcast?
Garrett Benner?
Yeah, thank you. My brain.
Garrett Benner? Fuck yeah.
Mr. Garrett Benner. He sent me a YouTube video today via text message.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, the working class outdoorsmen, dude. Their boat is insane. I got the chance to fish down with those guys. For about 5 days, I went down and fished with them, and I'm actually going back. I'm supposed to go back down, but with this COVID thing, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no one's sure of anything.
No, we're gonna fucking shoot fish up here. Like
Dude, the modern
style,
assassin,
so-
he's got those sweet green lights on his boat. His photos look like, I'm like, this is Photoshopped. I'm like, wait, no, this is how it is. It really is like green and fucking red, and it's like a Christmas tree floating on water, murdering carp.
That boat is insane, dude. 28 feet? I don't know. The fucking thing's huge.
It's wild.
Giant, dude. It's insane. Shooting fish on that thing is insane. All these guys, man. Nick Sampson, Nick Mather, all those guys, dude. They got just sick boats, dude. That's all they do is just kill barrels and barrels and barrels worth of fish, dude. If you guys
What do they
have
do
never
with all
done
those
that,
fish? Because they do kill a lot of them. What's the byproduct there? What are they doing?
So like your snakeheads, stingrays, a lot of those things they eat, they're edible. Everything else goes to farmers.
So you
Nice,
mentioned
for fertilizer.
stingrays. This must be brackish water then?
Yeah, you're fishing the Maryland bays. So you're fishing like the Chesapeake Bay.
That's cool.
Okay.
Or
ocean mixed with fresh.
yeah, yep.
It's a pretty area. I was in Quantico for a little bit, and then I was out in Virginia for visiting some family not that long ago, and it's a pretty dude. I like the East Coast. I was out in New York a couple times, and then all the way up to where's that? Where do they make all the syrup? What the hell's that? What am I thinking of here? Vermont. Dude, Vermont. I didn't see any moose. I was kind of disappointed, but I did get some syrup. My wife gets mad because I call it syrup.
South.
She calls it syrup. I call it syrup.
Syrup.
Some people call it scissorp.
All right.
I'm on my third scotch.
Little John.
Maybe you after about 5 beers.
3 scotches is all it took for this one.
Jesus.
It's monkey shoulder. It tastes good, okay? And, I'm just throwing them back. What are you guys drinking? Come on, I can't be drinking alone. Otherwise, I'd be an alcoholic. Bullshit you guys aren't drinking.
I got a Timber Pepsi.
What does that mean?
A what?
Oh, Bush Light, dude. It's a Midwestern thing. I
The
thought I
fuck?
was talking with the Midwest guys. So
I just call them Bush Lattes.
Yeah, so I whipped out the Timber
Timber
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Bush Latte, man.
All right, good.
Bush latte, blue smoothie,
Yeah, that's right, blue
blue
smoothies.
yummy. How about a pep shake?
Greg, what are you drinking? Are you drinking a PBR? You sick bastard.
No, I'm actually out of my mother-in-law's. I had a little Yangling. That's right, you East Coast boys.
Hey, I like
know
Yingling.
quite well.
Whoa.
That's good beer. I like Yingling.
So delicious. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Best enjoyed while you're pompano fishing on the beach of Florida, but we're not there, so we're here.
It
Don't
is
ask
yummy.
where I got it. It might be bootlegged.
It was shipped in.
Sure.
I had some in Tennessee, some Yingling, and I had it initially
That's 4-wheel.
from Florida and then Ohio. Those are the 3 states I remember Yingling from.
Delicious beer. Try the black and tan if you haven't.
I haven't. I might have to.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
How do people find the Outdoor Drive? Where should we direct folks that are listening to go? Because your podcast covers more than ours does.
So we're on all the major podcast platforms: Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Oh no, we're not on iHeartRadio yet. Sorry, we're not there yet. So we're on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. I think. Let me hold on. I bet you I can look this up. I'm not good at this stuff, dude.
That's okay. That's what we got Steve for.
Practice makes perfect.
We have the Lipson. I think we have an actual like podcast page. So let me find this for you. We don't have a website yet. We're talking about that. So we're gonna have that very, very soon. But we don't have one just yet. So it is outdoordrive.libsyn.com.
And it's Libysn. Libsyn's one of the foremost podcast hosting platforms that's existed. So, yeah, that's a good platform.
Yeah, if you don't find us on the apps, that's where you can find us, is on the Libsyn, man.
Oh, what else? Shit, I was just gonna say something. Oh yeah, you just launched some T-shirts on Bonfire, the Outdoor Drive T-shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, after I talked to you, man, I went and I fired it up there on Bonfire, and got a What Drives You Outdoors T-shirt.
Do you guys have an Are You There Yet segment on your show?
No.
Are we there yet? You know, my daughter's 2.5 years old, and she asked that question. I'm like, my life is over.
We don't even have that segment on our show, so where's this going?
Well, I'm just saying about all things driving. That's what I'm talking about. I'm still, dude. When you guys get your new intro done with the, I'm like, I want credit for that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we there yet? For you?
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Eric, shut the hell up. Oh, that's great. I'm going to turn this fucking car around. I swear to God. Play the Chris Farley clip.
Shoot if they have it this year, Eric?
Yeah, if they have it this year, which it sounds like they may, like it's getting close. Like really, it's less than 2 months away, right? Because isn't that like June? It's April 7th.
Yeah, man.
Thought they were talking June 20th.
I mean, they're not like here in the Midwest. They're talking the pandemic isn't gonna spike until May. Like, I don't know, man. It's changing everything right now. So I would love to go because I have a new HHA sight that I won there last year. I'm shooting the vector arrows. Like, I've stepped up my game. I would take a shot at the target this year, and I might do okay.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make bank, bro. He wants to drive a Range Rover.
Do you want to punch me right now? You both want to punch me right now.
You both want to punch me.
Hey, you know what's good for shoulder pain? If you lick my butthole.
No, you lick it first. This way got off the rails.
It always
if
does,
you haven't
dude.
seen Step Brothers, you're on quarantine. Go watch it. All right.
Have.
Yeah, you need
Boats
to go
and
watch
hose. Boats and hose.
Yeah.
I almost threw that down a few times when you were talking about boats, but I pulled back.
Every time I come, I produce a quart. Brennan, that's offensive. I could quote that movie forever. This house is a prison.
Shut up.
Oh man, don't touch my mixer.
Crazy.
Don't touch my mixer. Well, I think we did a good job here. This was a fun show. We're gonna have you back more often. Well, we can bring your crew on too, and the lines are open.
Back more often.
Yeah, we got to bring everybody back
I
more
guess
often.
nobody wants to talk to us, man. That's all right. It's okay.
The phone lines are open. Hey, the phone lines are open. If you want to call in, we'll shoot the breeze for 4 more minutes. And if we don't get a call in 4 minutes, we're gonna end the show. So just if you want to talk to us, we want to talk to you. This is your show.
This is the longest 4 minutes ever. Just shut it off.
8:09 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Wow, you're like past your schedule. I mean, isn't there somebody you're supposed to put to bed? Who's got the Tweety birds?
Yeah, that's me.
Unreal.
That's what I do.
That's your cricket.
Somebody take that thing away from him. No.
Yeah.
It's like a
You're
toy.
done. I'm not there to supervise.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys want some? Do you guys want some?
time,
Do you want some coffee? Anybody? I can brew some coffee. Backwoods grind. It's delicious.
Backwoods grind.
Go brew some backwoods.
All right, I'm done messing with the mixer.
And you have heated hunts. I mean, what's better than that,
We
dude?
do have heat hunts. They come back on in September for Rut Club Radio. So it's a very special segment.
I was wondering where that is, man. I love that thing, dude. I love calling in.
Well, we can't talk about the rut right now, and there's no rut. There's no rut.
Well,
it's got to be a
some
relevant
people
rut.
are in rut 'cause it's not deer season. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's COVID rut.
Yeah, that's what it
There'll be
is.
a lot of babies come December 25th ish.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, December babies. There's gonna be a bunch of them.
Johnny said he needed this tonight. He's sick of watching Family Feud. You know what, Johnny? The phone number's on the screen. If you want to call in and chat with us, we are here.
Yeah, Johnny should call in. I'm calling him out, dude. Johnny, have you guys ever talked to Johnny?
No, but if he doesn't call in, Johnny, you piece of shit, you better call in.
Man. Hold on. He definitely needs to call in. Call in.
Johnny, I didn't mean to call you that. That
Johnny's
was the
a fucking
scotch
man.
talking.
He's bashful.
Johnny is not bashful. He is far from bashful. If you haven't heard Johnny, Johnny is on the Toddcast show. So he's a co-host on the Toddcast.
Todd? Are you saying Todd?
Man, dude, he's from. Yeah, it's not a hunting show. It's just
that's
funny,
cool.
A funny podcast. Wicked badass podcast. He's from West Virginia. He's from Virginia. Sorry.
Yeah, don't say West Virginia. That could offend someone from Virginia.
Yeah, that could be a
Yeah, like the people in West Virginia don't have teeth.
a distinct difference.
Yeah, exactly. They have their cousins. But no, he's from Tattooed in the Wild, man. Johnny's
Oh,
from
no
Tattooed
shit.
in the Wild too. So
Rock on.
yeah, Johnny's
I've heard of
fucking
those guys.
dude. Funny as hell, but good people, dude. What a hype man. But
We're giving 2 minutes.
the East Coast boys.
I like you guys on the East Coast. There's a lot of folks that on the East Coast that use the word hunt app. Like I see the East Coast lit up like a Christmas tree half the time. I think it's just because you guys are so densely populated out there. We're all spread out over here in the Midwest, so like we're social distancing is in our nature.
Yeah. That's why I have to go walleye fishing tomorrow to social distance myself.
Attaboy.
That'd be fun. Send me a video if you reel one in. And you guys are on TikTok too, right? No, so you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook. Where else am I? You're on Snapchat. Is that a thing that the people pay attention to anymore? I don't know. Twitter.
We don't have a outdoor drive TikTok. I mean, outdoor drive. We don't have an outdoor drive TikTok or an outdoor drive Snapchat. It's just me on TikTok, but I do just some outdoor drive stuff on there.
Nice.
I'm on Udo. I'm on where else are we? We're about everywhere. That other app that you hooked me up with.
Go Wild.
We're on Go Wild. That's the other one. Yeah, great app.
That one's a good one.
And of course, we're on the Where to Hunt app.
Well, look at this. We did get someone to call in from Virginia. He's getting screened right now. Let's let him go.
Is it
Johnny. Yeah.
Or is it Steven?
Johnny. Hey, Johnny, you're live on the Word Hunt podcast. What's up?
What's up, fellas? How in the world are you?
We're good. We're real good. So
Good.
we got you to call in. Look at us with 1 minute to spare.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to be a piece of shit, so I figured I'd better get out. I was in the bathtub listening. I'm like, all right, now I got to get out and call.
The bathtub. The things we do on
Johnny
quarantine.
does it to me all the time.
What kind of bath bomb did you use?
I can't remember. Lavender, I think. I think it was lavender.
Yeah, we're not going to have you long. You're going to fall asleep soon.
So, Johnny, you're talking to us while you're naked in the bathroom is what you're saying to us.
No, actually, no. I do have all my clothes now.
All right,
That's
all
why
right, good.
I had to get out. Dry off.
I didn't want to give all those people that image, bro.
Like you said, I've done that to you how many times?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm taking a bath, dude.
How long did you listen? What was your favorite part of the show tonight, John?
I've been here for a good while now.
Yeah,
I've been on here for a little while. I'm not sure exactly how long. I know I didn't catch the beginning, but
What kind of dirt you got on Trev? That's what we want to know.
I don't have any dirt on Trev.
Bullshit.
I don't have any dirt on him.
Bullshit.
No dirt whatsoever. Not yet.
Are you doing any hunting? Are you doing any turkey hunting, or what do you got going on?
Oh, I can't wait. Our season comes in Saturday. I cannot wait.
You
That's
guys
awesome.
have a
I'll
lot
be
of
down
games
there.
going on down there?
What's that?
How green are you up down there? Did you guys? I mean, obviously you're quite a ways further south than we are. We're just starting to see some green come in on our underbrush here. Trees
we've got a lot of
fully
green.
leaved. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of green here. I was out this morning. I went mushroom hunting and just went out to listen. Heard two off in the distance. Yeah, we're greening up pretty good.
Summer's on.
Yeah, you've been
way.
getting after the morels. You've been getting after those morels a lot, huh? You guys, when did those been in for a while now?
Yeah, we've been for the past 3 weeks. We've been on them. So.
Wow, 3 weeks. Shit. We're not even close to that yet. I think we're getting there in the next month or so.
Usually mid-May, second to third week of May. That's when we start seeing them pop here, unless we get a freak warm spell where things warm up and stay consistent.
Yeah, well, that's normally normally it's turkey season before we ever start finding them. But my buddy went out to his spot, and he's like, "Dude, I found 17 today, and we've been going back like every other day, and we're averaging about 15 every time we go out." So
nice.
Well, you're gonna have to show me those when I come down next week, Johnny, because all we got over here is ramps, man. That's all I'm finding is damn ramps.
See, we don't have those here. I have
do you guys
never
have,
found a ramp.
Do you guys have them in Wisconsin?
Morels?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I've got probably about 6 different patches in the woods that I'm sitting right next to right now that I know of, and I can go out and reliably harvest some every year.
That's awesome.
And then pretty soon, usually when I start seeing ramps, I got to watch for the asparagus to pop up, as we got wild asparagus in the ditches all over out here, ditchweed.
Yep.
The kind you smoke, the kind you eat.
Yeah, we have not found any of that. Now, we do have asparagus as well, but we haven't located any of that yet.
Sure. And then usually when I start seeing asparagus, it might be time to start taking a peek around for the morels.
There you go.
Yeah,
Doug?
usually the east sides of these ridges that I've got, the east sides are the last to go, so the very top. Well, I might find a handful, and then it's time to start working on my way down and looking. So,
No.
I was going to say,
Doug,
Doug,
it's funny you mentioned it's funny you mentioned West Virginia. Now, I did grow up in West Virginia. I'm originally from Virginia. Of course, I live here now. Now, when we were in West Virginia, we had ramps. And, God, you could always tell when they were in season too.
I was going to say, Doug Glimmervine with the SmackDown Outdoors podcast just did an episode yesterday with someone about foraging for all sorts of mushrooms, like all kinds of mushrooms. I feel like I haven't even heard of this. The puffballs and all sorts of shit. And he said there's some mushrooms that are like way better than morels. I'm like, really? It's super fascinating. So
wow.
he's got a good podcast, SmackDown Outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, we have other species that grow around here. You just got to be able to find them, and like chanterelles, those are a real good.
Yeah, that was it, chanterelles.
Yeah, most of the time when we find them, they're usually around here, and I've never found any, but I know people that have. They're always near like apple orchards and stuff. They do really well there. So it's kind of a tough.
The other
one
one's
to
a
find.
black trumpet. Black trumpets are another really good
Never
one.
heard of that. That's new.
Okay.
And this time of year, the other mushroom to find is chicken of the woods, which is your orange and yellow one that you'll find. Sometimes
one
it'll
that
pop
grows
depending on the season.
That's the one that grows on the sides of the trees and logs, usually. Dry-edge saddles, I think, is another name they call them.
Oh no, that's a pheasant back. That's a different one.
Pheasant backs, that's right. Yeah, I find plenty of pheasant backs. Those are like a pork chop mushroom.
Yeah, you got to find.
They can't be too dry.
No, exactly. You got to get them when they're young. They're actually a little bit. You can if you pinch them, and they're a little soft, and that means that they're tender, and then they're actually good. But if they're too big, then they taste like shit. Another one to find too is I don't know if you guys have it. Is hen of the woods. That one's at the base of oak trees normally, but that's more in the fall. That's a good one. That's a very good mushroom.
Yeah, usually if you find them right now, they're all dried out. They're past their prime.
Oh wow!
I have
never tried those.
I've found a few or I found patches of them growing up the size of oak trees around here. And, in the winter, I find them when I'm out harvesting firewood. It's way too late. They're all dried up and they're done.
It's a whole other freaking podcast topic. We got to do one about mushrooms. We just have to do some foraging podcasts.
Foraging, dude, is where it's at, man.
Seriously.
It's fun.
I'm probably a better forager than I'm a
turkey
hunter.
hunting, you're looking around, looking for deer sign, looking for mushrooms, looking for everything. It's a great life to live.
It's awesome.
Oh, yes.
Johnny, dude, thanks for calling in, man. Thanks for being our single caller. We appreciate you.
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. I wanted to call in and give Trev a hard time.
Yeah, you're famous now, so there's that.
Man.
Give them a hard enough time.
We appreciate it.
Hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Trev.
Yeah, I'll be down, bro. I'll be down. I'm leaving on Wednesday. I'll be down.
Okay, brother. Let me know.
I'll bring you some rain.
Only about an hour and a half trip for me, if it's that long. We'll see how this whole crap goes. This virus shit.
Crazy
I'll bring
times.
down some ramps. It'll scare it all off. So
There you go.
Johnny, have a good night.
All right, fellas. Thanks for
Enjoy your robe.
Yeah, man. Thanks for including me.
Hell yeah.
See y'all later. All right. Bye.
All right. Hey, folks, we're going to end the live broadcast. That's a wrap. So thanks for tuning in to this show. Thanks for commenting. And thanks for Johnny for calling in. Everybody have a great night.
Have a good night. Thanks for listening.
thanks for having me on.
Hell yeah.